11 News starts with breaking news.
Breaking now, a fugitive has been captured after escaping from the Beaver County Jail. Somehow he was able to just walk right out. The escape prompted a search across the county. Channel 11's Amy Marcinkiewicz says breaking details from the jail on where police caught up to the fugitive.
We're here at the Beaver County Jail where just half an hour ago, sheriff deputies, 4 different cars came in here with their lights and sirens on, bringing back in that escaped inmate, John Broman. He was on the run, they say, escaped the jail yesterday, but they picked him up early this morning and he is now back in custody. From what we've learned from officials, he was in Hopewell Township somewhere. He will be charged now with escape and attempted break-in of a home. We're working to get those details, but what we can tell you is that after 24 hours of being out of the jail, he slipped out of the jail when they were trying to bring him in, arrest him, and put him into custody. He slipped out, we're told, with some construction workers that were in there because he was dressed in plain clothes when they arrested him, but he's back in jail. These details are breaking, they are developing, and we will stay on this story for the rest of the day and bring you much more information tonight at 5. In Beaver County, Amy Marcinkiewicz, Channel 11 News.
Also following breaking news in West Mifflin, where someone walking along the road was hit and killed by a car. Police say the victim was walking on Camp Hollow Road when a driver hit the victim at around 9 this morning. We're working to confirm exactly what happened and get information on the victim. Former Braddock Mayor, now Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman is exploring a run for the U.S. Senate in 2022. Fetterman had said he was considering a run for either governor or Senate, but says he is no longer interested in running for governor. Fetterman tweeted out a link to supporters to contribute to a possible Senate run. He expects to have a final decision in the next few weeks. A Capitol police officer who responded to the violence at the U.S. Capitol has died. His department shared the news early this morning and says he passed away last night. The officer was injured while physically engaged with some of the rioters, and he is now the 5th person to die after the chaos at the Capitol. The FBI wants to know if you know any of these people. The Bureau has issued several posters with pictures of people that were taken at the Capitol. People involved in Wednesday's riots are accused of breaching high security areas and even stealing items from the Capitol. They're also encouraging people to submit any pictures or video that could help them. We have more of those pictures up now on WPXI.com. Joe Biden is not mincing words over the storming of the Capitol. The president-elect is calling the people who took part domestic terrorists who pulled off an unprecedented attack on America's democracy.
They weren't protesters. Don't dare call them protesters. They were a riotous mob, insurrectionists, domestic terrorists. It's that basic, it's that simple.
Late this morning, President Trump tweeted he would not be attending Biden's inauguration as expected. Last night, he admitted his presidency is ending and promised an orderly transfer of power. It comes as the calls to remove him from office grow louder. Our Jacqueline Fell picks up the story from there.
House Democrats are meeting right now. They say if Vice President Mike Pence or members of the president's cabinet do not remove him from office under the 25th Amendment, they'll find a way to get him out of the White House.
We know that we have limited time, but that every day that Donald Trump is president of the United States is a day of grave danger.
House leaders say they are working on a timeline to vote to begin impeachment proceedings after the Capitol was attacked. 5 people are now dead from the riot, including a Capitol police officer. A handful of Republicans have said they would consider impeachment. Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse says President Trump was, quote, wicked in inciting the mob to the Capitol. President Trump is only in office for 12 more days. In a taped message, he condemned the violence at the Capitol and promised a smooth transition of power later this month. The president tweeted that he will not attend Joe Biden's inauguration. In Washington, Jacqueline Fell, Channel 11 News.
St. Vincent College in Latrobe has cut ties with an adjunct professor and former state lawmaker, Rick Saccone. Saccone shared video of himself at Wednesday's Capitol protest with the caption, "We are storming the Capitol. Our vanguard has broken through the barricades. We will save this nation." That video was later deleted. The college sent us a statement saying it investigated the video, and Saccone submitted a letter of resignation, which it accepted. Breaking in the last few minutes, President-elect Joe Biden announced that he will release most available COVID-19 vaccine doses to get the vaccine to more people. The Trump administration has been holding back vaccines to ensure people who've received a first dose can get a second one. Both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines require a second shot about 3 weeks after the first vaccination. We'll bring you more on this as it develops throughout the day. Meanwhile, the Allegheny County Health Department has learned of 967 new cases since yesterday. All but 16 of them are from tests done in the past week. 11 additional deaths were also reported. At least one of those deaths dates back to early December. That report comes a day after the U.S. recorded its highest daily death toll. 4,100 deaths were reported just yesterday. We've learned the first round of vaccinations are done at 2 of the 4 Kane Community Living Centers. 271 residents and 253 workers at the Glen Hazel and Ross Township locations got the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. The first dose will be given this weekend at the McKeesport and Scott facilities. We're learning new information on the first case of a new strain of COVID, now confirmed in Pennsylvania. It was originally found in the UK and first discovered here in the U.S. and Colorado. Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine says the Pennsylvania case is in the Harrisburg area.
This is not unexpected that we would see cases of the variant, and I believe about 50 cases have been seen in the United States.
Levine says the patient traveled out of the country and they're quarantining at home and showing mild symptoms at this point. The state health department says we should expect to see more of these cases, but also that the current vaccine should work against it. The Penguins are making some moves off the ice, holding a blood drive right now downtown. There is a desperate need for blood because drives keep getting canceled due to COVID-19. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond has more on the Pens' big play.
5 days until the Pittsburgh Penguins get back at it, but today it's all about saving lives. The Pittsburgh Penguins blood drive is happening today here at the DoubleTree downtown. If you're interested in giving blood, this is going on until 3 this afternoon. Every winter, blood supply usually drops. A nonprofit that collects blood all across the country says nearly 50 blood drives were canceled over the past 2 weeks, resulting in the loss of about 1,500 anticipated donations.
So we really have to make up that deficit in blood donations. And when people come today to donate, and we welcome walk-ins, they are really helping people in our community, not only patients in the hospital who need blood, but people who are food insecure.
The Greater Washington County Community Food Bank is also benefiting from this blood drive. You might remember this last month, how the food bank had its funding cut. Tonight at 5, find out how the blood drive is helping out the food bank. Reporting in downtown Pittsburgh, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
The Penguins also teaming up with First National Bank. For every goal the team scores this season, the bank will donate $200 to the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. The Pens' first game is Wednesday in Philadelphia. Well, after a long streak of cloudy days, the sun is finally going to shine. Meteorologist Scott Harbaugh joins us now with the forecast. Scott?
Depends a lot on location right now, Gordon, because the farther north you go from Pittsburgh, more sunshine you're seeing right now. Farther south you go, the less you're seeing. Right now in downtown, mainly cloudy skies, and the temperature not going very far, very fast. We're at 28 degrees and still a little bit of a breeze, so a little bit of a wind chill right now, too. As you step outdoors, feels like upper teens in low 20s. Look at the cloud cover pushing with the storm system from the south, so farther north you go, the more sunshine you're seeing this afternoon. And we will see a mix of sun and clouds throughout the afternoon as temperatures struggle back into the mid-30s today. Much more sun this weekend. I'm updating a graphic to show you how many hours of sun I expect to see Saturday and Sunday. I'll have that for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Scott. New at noon, the race for Allegheny County Sheriff is shaping up with a former Pittsburgh police chief and a chief deputy sheriff in the running. Dom Costa and Kevin Krause both announced bids. Costa was the Pittsburgh police chief before he served 5 terms as a state representative. Krause is the chief deputy sheriff and has the backing of current sheriff Bill Mullen. A CDC study suggests a link between college classes and a rise in COVID-19 cases. Researchers looked at data from 101 counties with large colleges and universities. They found there was a 56% increase in COVID-19 cases if schools started in-person classes. There was an 18% drop in the counties where schools used remote learning. Meanwhile, the state is recommending elementary school students return to class in person. Channel 11's Gabriella DeLuca explains why.
The State Department of Education is now recommending that elementary-age students return to in-person schooling in late January, saying that in-person schooling plays a critical role in child development. If you're the parent of an elementary school student, changes could be coming to how your child attends school. In a news conference, Noe Ortega, the acting Secretary of Education, made the recommendation that elementary school students go back to in-person learning.
Beginning in the second semester, which typically begins around January 25th, and as local conditions permit, schools are going to be encouraged to allow for elementary school students to return back to campus, along with other targeted populations.
By targeted populations, Ortega means students with special needs or students who need special attention. And it's just a recommendation, not a mandate. Plus, it's still up to local school leaders to make the decision based on local factors like percent positivity and incident rates.
The educational benefits of in-person learning, especially for younger children, are very clear from an educational perspective.
The state is telling schools to make sure all mitigation efforts are still implemented. Jamel Bennett, who has a third grader in PPS, agrees.
As long as we can allow them to return safely and that, they're providing parents with the comfort that they're going to do everything they can to limit exposure, then yes, I'm all for them going back.
But the president of the Pennsylvania State Education Association isn't so sure it's the right call, saying in part, as COVID cases increase to near record levels in Pennsylvania and as a more contagious strain of the virus has been identified, this is no time to encourage schools to bring more students and staff in contact with one another. Ortega and Dr. Levine are still recommending fully remote learning for middle school students and also high school students. Reporting in Allegheny County, Gabriella DeLuca, Channel 11 News.
The pandemic stopped many things, but it didn't stop this little girl from fighting cancer. Stick around for her inspirational story just ahead.
It's nice to really kind of have the story complete, and we can kind of continue to focus on Ethan's recovery.
It took over a year, but the man accused in a hit-and-run case is behind bars. What led police to the driver? And what a local nursing home is doing to bring families back together after a long separation.
It's nice to really kind of have the story complete, and we can kind of continue to focus on Ethan's recovery.
More than a year after a hit and run left this man with a traumatic brain injury, police have finally made an arrest. Today we're learning more about the anonymous tip that helped police track him down. Nathan Bober was hit by a truck on Sydney Street in southwest Greensburg and suffered a fractured skull and a brain injury. The tip led to a picture of this truck and the alleged driver, Justin Hudspeth. Police say they found his mail in the truck. As for Bober, he continues his recovery. The hit and run changed his life.
The recovery is like kind of swimming through really thick mud. It's like kind of obviously has this fog.
Justin Hudspeth is in jail, charged with aggravated assault by vehicle. Neighbors and a police officer rescued a woman from her burning home in Plum. One neighbor told the Trib they grabbed a ladder and an axe, broke a window, and pulled the woman out of her home on Frontenac Street yesterday. He said as soon as she got out, the flames started shooting out the window. At least 7 fire departments responded. The woman was taken to the hospital to get checked out. Breaking news now, the Dodgers say their Hall of Fame manager, Tommy Lasorda, Pennsylvania native, has died. The 93-year-old was released from the hospital earlier this week after about 2 months of treatment and was said to be resting at home in Orange County, California. The Dodgers said he went into cardiac arrest late last night and was rushed to the hospital but did not survive. Lasorda managed the Dodgers from 1976 to 1996, leading the team to 2 World Series titles. He spent his first 2 seasons in baseball playing for Philadelphia. With COVID cases spiking, nursing homes remain locked down. Families haven't been able to touch their loved ones for close to a year. But that's no longer the case at this long-term care facility in Murraysville. It just installed a hugging station. Channel 11's Serafina James shows us the difference it's making for families.
Families who have loved ones at this Murraysville long-term care facility haven't been able to see them since March, but today, that all changes. These are hugging stations.
Oh, love you, Mom. Love you, love you.
A simple idea that's having a large impact on this Murraysville long-term care home. Residents here at Redstone Highlands haven't touched their loved ones since the pandemic began. These sisters, Mary and Jamie, are hugging their mom for the first time since March.
I don't think she quite understood the whole concept of it until we could reach in and grab her hand.
And at times, their emotions almost too much for words.
She was getting teary-eyed. I was getting teary-eyed. She was. So just that touch. This is great.
AmeriSafe is behind the touching idea.
Sleeves are actually from a flower shop. So we get the sleeves that would have wrapped your poinsettias. We tape the bottoms of them, tape them into the plastic, get some vinyl for the window.
The company even changes each barrier and sanitizes the area between visits.
We just make a barrier there so there's warm and clean air on the one side and us on the outside.
According to the Pennsylvania Health Department, on Thursday, Westmoreland County had reported a little over 15,000 confirmed cases of COVID and 465 COVID-related deaths, 183 of which are connected to long-term care facilities in the county. Redstone Highlands Vice President Lisa Dormeyer tells me she's doing everything in her power to keep her residents safe and hoping to have a COVID vaccine available to them in the coming weeks. But while they wait,
we just think that it's given them a physical boost, an emotional, just every kind of possible way to elevate their spirits. It's been great.
In Westmoreland County, Serafina James, Channel 11 News.
A federal judge has ruled Allegheny County can move forward with his legal action against a restaurant that has repeatedly defied COVID orders. The Cracked Egg was ordered to close in August for refusing to use masks and social distancing. But the Brentwood business stayed open anyway, filing for Chapter 11 in October. The restaurant owner says they plan to fight the county's orders in state court. The Allegheny County Courthouse will remain closed for the rest of January. Last night, the chief judge extended her emergency order banning in-person proceedings because of COVID-19 until after January 31st.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
A lot of cloud cover around the area today, but the farther north you go, a little more sunshine you're seeing. Farther south you go, the cloud cover is just a bit thicker. I want to take you out into downtown Pittsburgh right now with our tower cam. We've had some glimmers of sunshine, but right now a mostly cloudy sky. And that temperature just not going very far. If you were with Chief Meteorologist Stephen Cropper last night on WPXI Tonight, he was explaining that he was bringing the temperatures down for the forecast high today because he just thought that cloud cover was going to linger a little longer than we wanted it to today. To go through the afternoon, wind chill will be a factor. Wind chill right now across the area in the upper teens and lower 20s, including a 22-degree wind chill in Pittsburgh, 19 in Washington, and 19 right now in Greensburg. Here's visible satellite. You can see that cloud cover from the south, but the farther north you go, the more diffused it becomes. So a little more brighter sky the farther north you go, a little darker sky the farther south you go. Sunshine forecast over the next couple of days. Not a ton today, but I think you're going to like tomorrow, Sunday, even into Monday. Tomorrow we should have about 7 hours worth of sunshine, which is a slam dunk. More sunshine than we've seen so far the entire year. Now, granted, we're only 8 days in, but we've really been hurting to get some sunny skies around here, and tomorrow should be a little bit better. Here's Storm Tracker this afternoon. Again, 2 o'clock, some clouds out there. They do try to thin out from time to time, but then they'll thicken back up tonight before finally clearing out late tonight and into first thing tomorrow morning. So I want to get a walk in this afternoon. Just a heavier coat. I actually stepped outside just about 15 minutes before the show, and it's cold, but it's not unbearable, and there's not a ton of wind right now. 36 right at 3 p.m. and 35 at 5 o'clock this evening. Okay, overnight tonight, temperature drops to about 21 degrees. That wind chill will be down into the teens after midnight tonight, so any plans overnight tonight, keep in mind, definitely will be cold. Tomorrow, not bad, partly sunny. Seasonably cool, 38 for the high tomorrow. Normal high temperature for tomorrow is 36 degrees, so we will be just a couple ticks above normal for this time of the year. You skiers, great day tomorrow over toward the Laurel Highlands. Temperatures barely into the mid-30s. Nice mix of sun and clouds throughout the day today. So I went ahead this morning and checked the latest ski reports from our ski resorts. Seven Springs made 1 inch of new snow yesterday. Their base is just about a 2-foot base. Hidden Valley has a base of 2 to 2.5 feet. Wisp, no new snow, a base of about 18 inches across the mountain. So some decent skiing for the weekend and some decent weather to ski into. 38 for the high temperature tomorrow, 40 degrees on Sunday. That Steelers-Browns game that you can see right here on Channel 11. Weather looks pretty good. It will be cold, but fairly quiet. Kickoff temperature about 33 degrees. Rest of your 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. We'll skirt the low 40s early part of next weekend. Dry again Monday and Tuesday. That pattern will begin to change by late in the week next week. Gordon?
Thanks, Scott. Youth sports get to kickstart, but no games yet for Pittsburgh Public Schools. How some parents are trying to change that. And the pandemic stopped many things, but it didn't stop this little girl from fighting cancer. Her brave story coming up next. While the COVID-19 has changed our family schedules in a lot of ways, it has not changed the way children get their cancer treatments at UPMC Children's Hospital. We're hearing from a family that says their daughter's diagnosis helped them prepare for the pandemic. Here's Channel 11 News anchor Jennifer Tomazic.
We view it as a privilege to take care of these kids.
You look lovely today.
That is one strong bond between doctor and patient, and it hasn't wavered during the pandemic.
Cancer didn't stop during the pandemic. Neither did any of the treatment.
4-year-old Rory Pritchard continues to go to UPMC Children's Hospital to get treatment for her leukemia. She was diagnosed in April of 2019.
I've been that mom, like, oh, don't touch, don't touch. And now everyone's like that. I'm like, see.
Mom Megan says because of her daughter's diagnosis, they started taking precautions a year before the pandemic hit.
I was stocked up on masks. I already had hand sanitizer. My 2-year-old, she has a younger sister, wears a mask beautifully, and it's simply because it was part of our lives.
But she says it is still hard to have a child who is immunocompromised during a pandemic.
Going out, I don't make that decision based on, like, if we're free, I make it based on blood work.
For that reason, she's chosen not to send Rory to preschool this year, and she's doing her ballet lessons virtually. They're obviously working, but Megan is hopeful that Rory will continue to get better, and she'll be able to start kindergarten next year.
Rory is doing great. The chances of her being cured are excellent.
Dr. Ritchie attributes that to significant cancer treatment progress through continued research of child cancer patients like Rory. Jennifer Tomazic, Channel 11 News.
And we certainly wish her well in her treatments. Stopping COVID starts with staying away from the people who test positive, but it might not be that simple. The startling new study. And there will be no fans inside Heinz Field for Sunday's playoff game, but fans will be in North Shore restaurants. How they'll make the most of their reopenings after the holiday shutdown. Finally, some sunshine in the forecast. Meteorologist Scott Harbaugh back with what you can expect heading into the weekend. Scott?
As a matter of fact, Gordon, it depends on where you are located today. Some areas are seeing some sun right now. Other areas, still the overcast skies. Looks pretty gray on tower cam right now in downtown Pittsburgh, but we do have some spots that are actually picking up a little bit more sunshine. Temperatures right now struggling. 29 in Pittsburgh, 27 currently in Greensburg. And we're not going to warm up a whole lot today. Notice on Storm Tracker, we kind of keep a little bit of that cloud cover around throughout the afternoon. That will keep the temperatures from coming up too much. It's 37 in downtown Pittsburgh this afternoon, but most of the suburbs in outlying areas won't make it quite that warm today. I am updating some numbers for the weekend forecast and where you can expect 40 degrees this weekend. Finally, it's been a while. We'll get their forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Scott. 2 days to Sunday night playoff football on Channel 11, a long-running rivalry and the playoffs in primetime. That's important to remember because you can't see it in person. Heinz Field will be limited to 2,500 people total. The Steelers will only have family and friends on hand. Minka Fitzpatrick says having no fans at Heinz Field will not have an impact on their game.
It's always beneficial to have the fans out there, and we love and appreciate them, but I think everybody understands, what's at stake. You know what I'm saying? It's win or go home. And, I think just that right there is enough for everybody out there, or at least in this organization, to go out there and play at a high energy level.
We are your home for the Steelers Sunday night. Our coverage starts with the Black and Gold Zone countdown to kickoff at 6:30. Kickoff is at 8:15, and after the game, join us for live postgame coverage, followed by the final word. North Shore restaurants that just reopened after COVID restrictions want to make the most of the playoff weekend. And while fans will not be allowed to go into Heinz Field for the game, some of them will likely be stopping by those North Shore businesses. Channel 11's Jillian Hartman spoke with business owners and fans.
Well, there's nothing like a Steelers playoff game at home against a big rival. But over here on the North Shore, restaurant and bar owners are crushed that fans will not be allowed at Heinz Field this Sunday, and it's already hurting business.
We've had some cancellations. Some people who actually had tickets for the game who were planning to come from outside of Pittsburgh had booked tables.
Mike Sukic owns the North Shore Tavern and Mike's Beer Bar, one of many businesses on the North Shore that heavily relies on fans, but is still hoping to capitalize on the Steelers playoffs.
January and February are typically very, very slow time, so the longer the Steelers play, the much better it is for us as far as business goes.
2020 was a struggle for restaurants, and many took quite a hit over the holidays when they were closed for indoor dining by state order. Many owners tell me they are offering food and beer specials for game day. Sukic is pre-booking tables at his restaurants and even encouraging fans to visit their local spots to watch the game.
It's been a long time since we've all had a chance to kind of, get out and be able to socialize in a safe environment, and the Steeler playoff game provides a great opportunity for that.
Today, we also caught up with a Steelers fan and season ticket holder who's now bummed he can't go to Sunday's wild card game against the Cleveland Browns.
No, it's tough. You have these tickets, and we have put together a good season, and you expect to be able to go cheer the team on for the playoff games.
Even the players have said they miss their fans and the impact they can make when it comes to a big play, especially in the playoffs.
It's been a tough, weird kind of year for the Steelers, but it'll all be all right if they win the Super Bowl, so we'll still be cheering them on.
Right now, fans will be limited to friends and family of the team here at Heinz Field on Sunday. The Steelers spokesperson said they were hoping to receive approval to host fans for the playoffs at a capacity similar to the games in October and November. But unfortunately, the state's orders will only permit 2,500 total people in the building, including players, coaches, and staff. Reporting outside Heinz Field, I'm Jillian Hartman, Channel 11 News.
New data shows more asymptomatic people are spreading COVID-19. The CDC estimates that 59% of all transmission comes from people who show no symptoms. This includes people with the virus who haven't developed it yet or never will. Researchers say these people are going about their daily lives not knowing that they're contagious. The high number means that you're most likely to catch the virus from someone who appears healthy.
So these findings suggest that just identifying and isolating people who have symptoms isn't enough to control the ongoing spread of the coronavirus. It doesn't catch all the cases, and that's why it's so crucial for everyone to be vigilant.
This includes wearing a mask out in public and social distancing. Emergency management and first responders in counties like Fayette and Westmoreland counties say that they've been left in the dark. They are relying on the state's guidance for who should get the COVID vaccine next, but claim they're still waiting on direction from the state as to when the next phase of the vaccines will be distributed.
We've seen their plan. It's very vague. It doesn't have specifics in it, and that's the question I think all the counties are asking. You know, what's the time frame?
The Department of Health says the timeline remains unclear. About 1 million people are in the current phase to get vaccinated, and as more doses become available, they will be distributed. Basketball games and swim meets are now allowed to resume here in Western Pennsylvania, even as the COVID-19 pandemic continues. But in some districts, including Pittsburgh Public, they are not opening the gyms just yet. Channel 11's Gabriella DeLuca takes a look at the parents who want to let their kids play.
Parents, players, and coaches are giving one last final plea to Pittsburgh Public Schools superintendent and athletic director, begging them to allow them to play winter sports this year.
One last plea, like Dr. Hamlin, please perhaps give our seniors and our other students the chance to play winter sports.
Devin Crummy is the head boys basketball coach at Alderdice and knows how important the 2021 winter sports season is.
I have college coaches contacting me. Do you know when you're going to start? We'd like to see your seniors play. And I don't have an answer.
After Pittsburgh Public Schools originally delayed the winter sports season back in December because of COVID, there's still no decision now if the season will resume this year. Last month, we were told the decision would be made in January.
My son has worked hard. He's finally got an opportunity to play varsity basketball. And to not have that opportunity is sad.
Josh Brown and Jamel Bennett are two PPS parents whose sons play basketball. They and other parents created a petition that has more than 500 signatures asking PPS officials to allow the season.
I think all of the parents pretty much feel the same way that we do. We want our kids to have the opportunity to play.
The same opportunity students who play in the Whippy will have.
I just want the students in the City League to have the exact same opportunity as their peers. You know, there's students that, you know, Obama or Alderdice, you know, there's schools within 2 miles that are part of the Whippeal, and those students are getting the opportunity and our students are not.
PPS has not yet said when a decision will be made. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Gabriella DeLuca, Channel 11 News.
It's usually men making baseball history. Still ahead, though, a woman with local ties is breaking a barrier. First, the local school board member at the center of a racial discrimination lawsuit stepping down. A Gateway School Board member at the center of a racial controversy has resigned. Paul Cagliari was named in a racial discrimination lawsuit, and he's accused of using a racial slur in a text message to other board members. In a letter, the superintendent said he cannot comment on the text message, but board members understand the serious nature and concerns resulting from the text. The district accepted the resignation yesterday. A car nearly hit a home after a crash late last night in Marshall Shadeland. It was a busy scene there after 11 last night along Marshall Avenue. 2 cars were involved. They ended up in different yards. No word on any injuries or what caused the crash. Take a look at this video right here. We found this car in flames along 5th Avenue near Belfield Avenue in Oakland around midnight. The crash took out a street light there. We're told that no one was seriously hurt. Hyundai's stock is skyrocketing after reports it is in early talks with Apple to develop self-driving electric cars. Several news outlets reported that the South Korean automaker confirmed it was talking to Apple. Apple declined to comment. Last month, Hyundai unveiled engineering for a series of new electric cars. The Pennsylvania Farm Show kicks off this weekend, online only. Why organizers still expect a big crowd.
Temperatures are struggling today, but I'll show you when you're going to finally see numbers back into the 40s.
People have been forced out of their homes in East Pittsburgh after part of an apartment building collapsed. This happened at about 10:30 last night on Main Street. There are 3 apartments in the building. The Red Cross is helping the people who live there. This year's Pennsylvania Farm Show is virtual and kicks off this weekend. It's been a process to plan. 500,000 people usually visit throughout the week. The state Secretary of Agriculture said that many people thought a virtual show was impossible to achieve.
They figured out how to take 1 million square feet of the Farm Show complex and compress it into our computer screens for a week while still providing new experiences and much enjoyment.
The Farm Show starts tomorrow and runs through the 16th.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
A brightening picture over the next couple of days, slightly warmer as well, but still that winter chill will be in the air. Outside right now, a lot of numbers still in the 20s because of that cloud cover that's hanging, especially from Pittsburgh on south. Current temperature in Pittsburgh right now is 29 degrees. You head up toward Butler, we're at 28. Beaver's at 31 with a little sunshine. Morgantown, 28. Factor in the breeze. Still feels like wind chills in the teens in Greensburg and in Washington right now. Both of them feeling like 19 degrees. Okay, going through the course of the afternoon, these clouds, notice they're thicker to the south. Farther north you go, there's still cloud cover, but I've seen the sun a couple of times peek out throughout the course of the morning, and we'll see that this afternoon, primarily north of Pittsburgh. Not going to do much for the temperatures this afternoon. Notice storm tracker, that milky white shading kind of hangs in there much of the afternoon, so you'll get a glimmer of sunshine, you'll get a brightening sky for a couple minutes, but you're certainly not going to have clear skies at any point in time this afternoon or this evening. Temperatures this afternoon struggling back into the mid-30s, 33 degrees at 2 o'clock with clouds, 35 at 5 p.m. So when taking the dogs out for the walk this afternoon, make sure you have the hat and the gloves on because anything past 5 minutes starts to get a little brisk outside. Next 4 days, we're dry. You can max out at about 9.5 dry hours a day, and we're going to be there today through Monday, even though it's not going to look overly pretty this afternoon. No snow, no rain this afternoon, and the weekend forecast looks dry as well. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy. Wind chill in the teens tonight, so cold night tonight. Normal low temperature for tonight is 21, so right where we should be for this time of the year. Tomorrow, pretty nice, partly sunny, seasonably cool, 38 for the high temperature tomorrow. And again, I think we're going to see a fair amount of sunshine during the day tomorrow. My pick day of the weekend, Sunday, even though I think there'll be a little more sunshine possibly Saturday. Sunday's going to be a couple degrees warmer. It's certainly going to make it feel good outside, considering most of us are suffering from a little cabin fever over the last week to week and a half. Partly sunny on Saturday, 38 degrees, 40 degrees, as I mentioned, on Sunday. So looking pretty good both days, and temperatures slowly beginning to moderate. Steelers-Browns, 8:15 right here on Channel 11. Our pregame coverage begins with the black and gold zone at 6:30. That kickoff temperature will be 33 degrees. Temperatures falling into the 20s during the game. Now, right now, wind looks to be relatively light, so shouldn't mess with the kicking or the passing game at all. Just kind of a cold, early to mid-January football night in Pittsburgh, kind of the way you want it. 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Good deal of sunshine coming up on Monday and Tuesday as well, mixed in with the cloud cover. But look at the temperatures. We continue a slow but steady climb upward. We should be primarily in the low 40s on Monday and Tuesday. Overnight low still chilly, so still coat weather for much of the day, but probably zip it up in the morning, unzip it a bit during the afternoon. And by later next week, we'll finally see a chance of some snow, rain coming into the area probably by about Friday or Saturday of next week. Gordon?
All right, thanks, Scott. For just the third time in history, both the Powerball and Mega Millions jackpots are more than $400 million. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot sits at $510 million. Tune in to WPXI tonight for the results. The Powerball will be drawn tomorrow. This jackpot could be the 10th largest prize in the game's history. Now here's local steals and deals.
I have, interestingly enough, one of my new favorite things. This is Calming Heat by Sharper Image, and it does so much more than a regular heating pad. And at first I thought, yeah. And then I tried it and I went, oh, yeah. So here's the deal. Number one, it's a heating pad, right? If you have aches and pains, you overdid it, your back, your shoulders, your knees, right? There's nothing better than a heating pad, but most heating pads just kind of sit there. This one drapes over, and it has weight. It's filled with these weighted clay beads, so the heat really absorbs, and you feel the heat so much more. It makes such a difference, and I love that. But it also has, wait for it, because here's the cool part, massage. Now, I have 3 different settings for heat, 3 different settings for massage, and by the way, automatic timer turnoffs for the massage and the heat, so you're good with safety. Because of the fact that it's a great size, when you put it over your shoulder, it covers a lot of your shoulder. If you put it on your back, it covers a lot of your back. When I put it on my lap, down my legs when I'm watching TV, it covers a lot of space. So this is one of those things that can just be calming and soothing at the end of a long day, or just because it's that Zen moment when it's cold outside and you're toasty, warm, and massaged inside. It's Calming Heat by Sharper Image. I love the concept. And by the way, 20% off on localsteels.com.
Here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny.
The end of an era. Alex Trebek's last episode of Jeopardy airs tonight. The long-term host died in November. He hosted the show for 37 years. Jeopardy champion Ken Jennings will appear in Trebek's place starting next week. You can watch Trebek's final show at 7 o'clock tonight right here on Channel 11. A Lower Burrell native is now just the 57th woman and first Army medical officer to graduate from Army Ranger School. 25-year-old Samantha Shepard graduated from the elite program on her first try late last year. Shepard graduated from Burrell High School in 2014. She is a first lieutenant Army Medical Services officer at Fort Campbell in Tennessee. A woman with local ties is making professional baseball history. We heard from Bianca Smith for the first time yesterday since she was hired by the Red Sox to be a coach in their minor league system. Smith is the first minority coach ever in professional baseball. She lived in Sewickley for 4 years during her time in college and told Channel 11's Jenna Harner this afternoon that she is thrilled with the support she's received.
Honestly, the support I got too, since a lot of my stepdad's family is from the area, has been great. I've seen the outpouring. It's been pretty cool.
And above all, Smith is proud to be an example and an inspiration for young girls. That's it for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is tonight at 5, and you can get breaking news updates anytime on our streaming apps. Just search WPXI on Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.